up? My name's Michelle and welcome to my Booktube channel. Woohoo! That's kind of stinky, huh? Welcome to my Booktube channel. I'm so excited. This is my first Booktube channel, obviously. So I figured since it's my first video, why not do the Booktube Newbie Tag? So without further ado, bring on the questions. So I started this channel because, well, I kind of just fell into Booktube. A couple months ago, I was still in college and my life was changing radically, and I was kind of sad, and I was looking for something entertaining to do with my time, and I saw a couple booktubers on YouTube, and I really liked what was happening, and I was like, this is really perfect, and I thought I would just really love watching the videos, but something kind of special happened. When I started watching Booktube, because everything was so crazy in my life and I didn't feel like I had a whole bunch of people that I could, like, I don't know, I just felt like I felt kind of alone sometimes, but whenever I started watching Booktube, I think the best booktubers are the one who talk directly to the camera, and they look at you and they make it feel like you're just, like, you're in a conversation, like, we are friends, you are my friend. And I really like that because, you know, sometimes that made me feel like they were my friend for the day. Of course, I love reading, so I thought what a perfect opportunity this would be for me, and it seems like a really welcoming community of Booktube, and I really want to be a part of it. I think everyone's an individual, and I think I have my own thoughts and opinions and ideas, and I think I have some really cool things to contribute. I have some really great ideas for some book tags and lots of other things, and I also want to, in every month of my TBR for the month, I want to include one book that is a book that we all think deserved more hype than it got. And I think we all have a book or two like that where it's like, man, I love this book, but I don't know anyone else who read it, and it deserves so much more hype than it has. So I want to hear from you, and I want to hear the books that you have so I can add them to my list, and I want to make sure that I read one of those each month, and then we can talk about it and maybe get the word out of this book that deserves more hype, and maybe more people can read it. And I also work at a bookstore, so I hear lots of really good things from people that I meet there. So I have a huge list over the time that I've worked at this bookstore of books that people have told me about. I'm like, that sounds so good. Wait, let me write it down. And I write it down, and I just have a big old list because, oh man, so many books in so little time. I'm most excited about you. I'm most excited about becoming a part of this community and meeting people who share a love of books, and people who are funny, and people who I can talk to, and we can laugh about books, we can cry about books together, and we can fangirl, right? It's all about fangirling. And the books. I'm excited to hear about books that I've never heard about before, and to experience it with you by my side. I've always loved reading. I think that we all know what it's like for books to be an escape for us, and I think that's totally true. But I think they're also a great way to learn. I think that, at least for me, every time I read a book, there's something new that I learn every time, and I'm putting little book marks in there, and there's a quote that I love that I'll write down somewhere, and I'll look at it, and I think books offer me a new way to look at life, and a little bit more that I learn about the world around me and myself every time I read them. This is really hard because I think I've always loved reading. My family is big readers, so I was just kind of born into it. But there are two main ones that I think stick out as two series that when I was younger really stood out to me. Number one, of course, is Harry Potter. They're just amazing. They're fantastic, and I love them. I'm a huge Potter nerd for life. Number two, that would be The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot. I remember that the film had came out, and I loved the film, and my cousin bought me the first book. It's like, oh, maybe you'd like this. And I loved it, and I read all the books in the series, and I met Meg Cabot when she was on tour, and they were just a fantastic part of my childhood that made me always want to read a series. So I think that they play a big part in that for me too. I think think the biggest question I would ask my favorite booktubers, and anyone else who's a booktuber out there who may just be watching, is what's the thing that you wish you knew when you were in my shoes? What was one thing that you wish someone would have told you, a bit of advice of, oh, make sure you do this, or don't ever do this, or this will help so much? That's what I'd really like to know. And of course, what's a good way to promote yourself without promoting yourself, you know? Yeah, I think that's a tricky ground to tread on, and I'd love to hear some advice about it. I think just putting myself out there on the internet. Like, the internet is so huge. So I think it's just different to put yourself out there on the internet like this. So I think that will definitely be the biggest challenge for me to overcome. But I'm hoping it'll all be worth it. I'm gonna answer this now. Why did I start reading now again? Because I just graduated from college. I just got my undergrad degree, and when I was in college, most of the books that I read, I would say probably 70 to 75% of the books that I read were all academic books. They were all readings that I read that had to do with my field of study and what I was working on, so I didn't have a lot of time to read with leisure. I did have some time, but not as much as I would like. So why am I reading again now? I think I'm just at that point where after you've graduated, you're like, okay, how can I return to me? And I think because reading makes me feel the most like me, I just want to get in touch with that again, and I'm diving in. I'm ready. I read everywhere. I read everywhere and anywhere. I think though, I think I have to start a book in a kind of quieter area, like my room or a quiet place in my house. I think it's hard for me to start a book when I'm like on a plane or in a public area. But one of my favorite things to do on a Saturday where there's nothing to do is to just read in bed or go to like a nearby park and read. Those are one of my favorite things to do when it's just a day when you have off and it's just perfect. Oh, I love it. I read all kinds of books. I think right now I'm really in the YA fantasy and fiction area. I mean, I love all fiction. It's not just YA. It's hard. I think the only books that I don't read a lot of is I read a lot of sci-fi, and I think that's just because I haven't found good sci-fi. So I would love to hear from you about what some of your favorite sci-fi books are, because I just haven't found good ones I think that I've really been able to get into. So I'd love to hear some of your favorite sci-fi books. I also don't read a lot of graphic novels, but I think that's the same thing where I just haven't found the right one. So I think that will be a challenge that I'm looking forward to reading. Okay, so I guess that's it for this video. I'm so excited to be taking this journey with you, and I can't wait to hear from you. So please don't hesitate to give me your feedback, any comments, just what you think. I'm so excited, and stay tuned. I'll have a new TBR video coming at you. I've already started. I've already read my first book in full, and I'm gonna start it on the second. Yeah, I can't wait. So until next time.